What up, YouTube, YouTube? Back again. I like working with sample kits or construction kits and stuff and trying to make original sounding music as well as the vinyl. So I'll never stop messing with the vinyl. But a lot of times with us being like sample producers, a lot of times now that it used to start off with loops. I'm not gonna go deep into the history, but then once we started implementing chops, we started getting way more creative of how we make our beats. And sometimes what I'm trying to tell you is, in the creative process, do what sounds good. Sometimes we'll get ourselves into these rules, either that we hear from other people's or rules that we are still upon ourselves as far as how we create our music. Case in point, we might hear a nice bass loop or whatever and say, oh man, I gotta chop it. You feel obligated to chop it because something or someone or some type of theory makes you feel like I ain't putting in that work if I don't chop it and make it my own. But just because you take an element and let it ride doesn't mean you're not making it your own if you're adding other elements to it. Because if it sounds good, because at the end of the day, what you want to do is make something that sounds good. And if that original sound or that loop or that composition inspired you, why mangle it? Just a thought. So I would recommend not destroying the inspiration in the first place, unless you heard it and then you heard like how you want to arrange it and then you arrange it that way. But if that one sound or that loop or that chord or that whatever it was inspired, like wow, roll with that, because the fastest way to kill inspiration is to take something that inspired you and then feel the need to make it different. So just know that don't overrule yourself. That's the point of what I'm about to say. So I want you to hear. I heard this loop and I want to use it. It's from a construction kit. I thought about chopping it, but I'm like, no, I'm not chopping it. I'm gonna use it and then build on it. So listen to this. So that's the gist of it. I did chop it up, meaning that I chopped it so I could play it the way I wanted to or adjust tempos and stuff like that. So here's what I did. So you got the point. So I got that going right now. Now everybody say drums are the foundation. They are. But when I hear musical composition, then I build around it, and then I find the drums that complement what I built. Sometimes I'll start from the drums because I'm inspired from the drums first. I just tell everybody, this is hip hop and this music making shit. Don't make too many rules for yourself. Just allow the creativity to flow. So if it means you want to start off with the hi-hat first, start off the fucking hi-hat first. If it means, oh, I want to start off with the sample first, start the sample first. I want to start off the drums, just don't put yourself in this box that takes the creativity away, because the inspiration comes from what you hear and then makes you want to dive in. So wherever you want to dive in at, that's where you start at. You start from wherever the inspiration is, that's where you start. So let's keep it moving. So I'm trying to add a bass to this now. So and I find myself getting crafty on the pads when I'm not using the controller as much. So this is kind of what I'm thinking for the bass. So that's what I'm recording now, and I'll be adding other elements. I'm gonna say it that complement each other. Some drums to see where we can go from there. All right, so I found this drum loop that I like. I think complements it, but I don't like the rim shot. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna chop this up. It's 32 beats. So I'm going to chop it up into 32 pieces first. So I'm chopping it up by region. I'm doing about 32. So, of course, I'm going to go in and edit it, make sure they're hitting where I want them to hit. By chopping it, I can still because if I like the original drum pattern of the loop I got, I can just play it, hitting the patterns in sequence. And another thing you do when your chops are even and it's a perfect loop, you'll find that a lot of you it's like your kick. So my kick is every other pad, like this one, and these will always be hi-hats. These will always be the snares. So I essentially can go through and avoid those pads and then add the other. I want to add a clap and some snaps in. So I'm gonna add them in afterwards. So you'll see what I'm talking about when you see it actually done. So let's get into it. So I'm gonna convert this. Just do it. Okay, cool. So let's do it. I'm not quite sure if you noticed it. As I was hitting it, I was hitting the pad. So if you need to have that rhythm, you can go above the pad. You don't want to hit just to keep your time and just don't hit that pad. Like that. So simple technique. So now I'll go to track 4 and I'm and I'm gonna find some claps that I want. All right, so I found the snare claps and what I want to use. Right. I'm gonna use this. I want to use this. I'm gonna go to my program edit because this is louder than what I wanted to be. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the volume of this one. Almost perfect. So if this snare right here was super loud, I'm at like, I'm gonna take it up to like 40. This is at full volume. I'm taking it up to 47, sound like that. Now I know some people will ask, well, couldn't you just take the 2 samples and layer them inside the program where they're on top of each other? Yes, I could. I could layer them and still control the volume on each and just hit one pad and hit both of them. But what if I want to do a variety of, like a ghost note? That way it gives me the flexibility. So I'd rather just hit them both at the same time. And well, I might want to be lazy and one hits a little before the other. wanted to do that and do a lazy or have one hit slightly before the other, I can't do that if they're together. So I'd rather just have them separate and do the 2-finger layering. So that's just something I like to do. But if you want to put them together, you can do that, of course. So let's add these sounds to it now. So let's add this in. That's the missing piece. So let's add it in now. Thing is, now as I delve into it, if I want to maybe put a little effect just on this one or just on that one, I got control over those sounds and I can put an effect or whatever I want to. And if I wanted to, I could lay another kick drum on it as well, which I'm not going to do because I like the way it sounds right now. So I'm going to keep building around it, but that's just a technique that you could do if I wanted to lay another kick. I'll give another kick that will complement this loop and then add the kick in too. So, alright, so let's see what other elements we can do. So, I'll be right back. The fact now on this next part that I just found something that I thought fits okay leads me to something to explain. And what I mean by that is, back in the day, it took a while for people to make an album. It said it took me 2 years to make this album, or it took me a year to make this album. And then you got people online where you're like, man, yeah, I made that beat in 10 minutes. I made this beat in a half an hour. I made this beat in 4 hours. I think the fact that so much work had to go into making music back in the day, that's why those things are classic. Because the process was just never rushed. So, case in point, I got this sound here, and this is the portion of where we call it like ear candy, little elements that you add to your beat. And what I do is I'm kind of playing them together but offset. So I hit this one first and then this one and hold them. For instance. Get better. 1, 2. So the tail end from the one goes into the other one. Then this crazy vinyl crackle. Which really sounds like the record is destroyed. But I'm going to add that as a unique element underneath to kind of give it a vinyl feel, but not. Now, the point I'm saying is these things fit for the time being. If this is a serious track I want to work on, these may not be the elements or the risers or the sound effects I want to use. So it's okay if you got an idea for a beat to come back to it until you find the exact sound. I have so many sounds, so I want to find the perfect sound. This might work, but if it's not, I want to find the perfect sound. And if that means the process of making this beat takes 2 weeks, a week, 3 days, 4 days, then so be it. I think you'll find a lot more pride and a lot more quality will come out of it until you do it. A lot of people have to stick to one thing and get that one thing done. Some people can work on multiple things, and my brain works multiple ways. I'm working on multiple things, and then when I get stuck on one thing, I can always go back to something and try to complete that. So by any means, please complete shit. Don't just leave shit hanging. But if the beat needs some TLC and takes a little time, give it what it needs. I think you'll be way happy in the end, and it'll be a project or a product that you're happy of and that you're proud of. So, all right. So this is how I'm adding these elements in. Like I said, 1, 2, and this is how we're going to the beat. not going to be in every sequence. So what I did was I made a copy of the original sequence, and that's going to be in one of the sequences. And one of my sequences is not going to have these sounds in there at all, but they will both have the crackle sound in it. All right. So let's record it. So now I'm at the crackle sound. No, this sounds okay. I want it to be too overbearing. So let's add that in. Oh. With vinyl crackle effects, I hit them randomly, so it doesn't sound like a continuous loop if you was to just listen to the track. So I'm hitting them at different points. So you get the point. So I'm hitting them kind of off, like different places, so it doesn't sound the same all the time. So now I'm adding the vinyl effect to this. You cannot hear the vinyl effect. I can, it's kind of low. I might even add an effect to the vinyl effect to give it a little bit more oomph, but it's just a little something there extra. So alright, so I found a vocal, because I got vocal samples too that kind of fits. It's not what I would use. It's not the vocal I'm going to leave in here. But just to give you an idea, if you had a vocalist that could sing on it or do a hook, just to kind of give you an idea of the skeleton and how it can all come together. So I'm going to let you hear it, and we'll rock from there, and then I'll see you in the next video. But let's get into this right now. Alright folks, thanks. There you have it. That vocal wasn't quite on time. I could have made that better, but just wanted to give you a feel for how it goes down. But again, going to the beginning topic, if you hear something that inspires you, build on that. Because the minute you alter what inspired you, you done made it something different. So if you find yourself getting to the beat block, or you find yourself starting off something and it ain't quite what you thought it would be, and it sounded hot in the beginning, and you know the sample's hot, maybe just rock with the loop and then build on it. So that's just, you know, it's no rules, but that's just a point of advice. If something inspired you and that sound made it sound perfect to you, why alter it? I don't know. Why change it or destroy the inspiration? So, all right, y'all. Peace.